36 years of basketball knowledge and life skills. Your host, Coach Goins, focuses on today's topics on and off the court, helping players and coaches achieve their goals. So get ready for another fast break episode of Basketball More Than a Game with your host, Coach Goins.
Hey, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Coach Goins. You know what? Welcome to another fast break episode of Basketball More in the Game. As we sit around and we think about basketball, there's a lot that comes to mind. But before we get into that, we got to make sure that we pay the bills. And we want to thank our title sponsor, and that's none other than Mr. Curtis Jackson, your independent insurance agent out of the great state of North Carolina and now serving the Commonwealth of Virginia. So you can reach him at area code 919-614-5796. And when you do, please thank him for his continued support of Basketball More in the Game that allows us to come into your home each and every day, each and every time you check us out. Man, you know what's so important? You can subscribe, you can like us, you can follow us, and leave a comment on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Facebook, Lionfish Entertainment, and also now Spotify. So check us out on all those platforms. We are so excited. But listen, you may say, Coach, who you got on? You know what? I've got on the best co-host this side of heaven. It's not Stephen A. Smith. It's not Shannon Sharp. It's not anybody from ESPN. It's none other than Mr. Michael T. Quick. Coach Quick, welcome to Basketball More in the Game.
Glad to be here today, Coach Goins.
Hey, listen, so we are action-packed, and we're going to jump right on into the thick of things. But before I do, I got to give a shout-out. I went on and, took a look at some of our stats, and I always like to keep the folks updated, and we are so excited about what we're doing across the United States. So I just want to thank the 106 people that are listening and are subscribers in Maryland, the 85 people in California, the 83 people in Minnesota, the 74 people in Florida, 63 people in Georgia, 61 in New York, and 43 in Pennsylvania. So we're excited. We want to thank them. Now, for our international partners, we want to thank the 38 folks in Sweden, the 31 in the United Kingdom, the 23 in Canada, the 16 in New Zealand, the 15 in Japan. Australia has 14, the Netherlands 6, and the Russian Federation has 6. So we want to thank all of our subscribers, not just the ones that I just called out, but wherever you may be that you stop and you listen to Basketball More in the Game. It's all about what Coach Quick and Coach Goins tries to do behind these mics. To make it a pleasure to be in your house or each week to be with you so you can just sit back and understand and enjoy what we do each and every time. So, Coach Quick, I'm going to go ahead and kick it over to you. We always title this first session the fast break. So I know Coach Quick has got a great outline, so I'm going to kick it over to him. So with that first topic.
Yes, sir. Coach G, just want to talk about this week. As you all know, LeBron James opened up a school in his hometown of Akron, Ohio. It's called the I Promise Elementary School. And LeBron James has really gone out his way to do a lot of things for his community. And he's really giving back in a lot of ways. And not only does LeBron use his money to back him up, he speaks out about a lot of things, a lot of social injustices and everything. So what he's doing with this I Promise School, I put it out there like this. I haven't seen an athlete like him in many, many years, and I really appreciate what he does for his community.
You know what? I couldn't have said it any better, Coach Quick, because here's the skinny. Coach Quick has nailed it. He's exactly right. When you think about this, so his school, I Promise. Think about it: free tuition, free uniforms, free bicycle and helmet, free transportation within 2 miles. Free breakfast, lunch, and snacks, food pantry for families, GED and job placement service for parents, and guaranteed tuition to the University of Akron for every student who graduates. That's a mouthful. You know what? So here's where we're gonna go with this. And Coach, I appreciate you putting this on your hit list, and the great minds think alike, because I definitely had it on mine. Folks, here's our challenge. You know what? It's beyond basketball. When you had somebody in the media, jumps up, several months ago and calls LeBron out and tells him to shut up and dribble, you know what? That's you got to deal with that. People are going to say whatever they're going to say. If they talked about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, they're going to talk about Coach Goins and Coach Quick. But it's all good. When a man is able to do what he's been able to do, as clean as he is in the league, as clean as he is, he's an outstanding father. He's has his wife, and they have the 3 beautiful kids. No scandals during his entire career. But the thing is this. He gets out and he does this type of thing. You know what? Not in Los Angeles, not in Miami. He did this in his hometown. What a tremendous feat. When I was listening to this thing, I really thought, I said, man, what a powerful thing to be able to go back to your hometown and open up a school. So again, hats off to LeBron James, his family, everybody that's in his organization, because the impact, and that's what it's all about. One of my good friends always told me, here's the thing, it's, how do you want to be remembered? And when you're able to, the impact that he has almost on those, I think it's over 200 kids that's going to be in the school, and the school is going to continue to grow over the couple of years. It's just a beautiful thing. I had the opportunity to watch it on CNN the other night, and Coach Quick called it out. A lot of times, people want to sit back and say these guys don't do anything, but when you get a guy at this caliber, at this level, an iconic player, to be able to step out and his foundation does this, it makes people step up and recognize. And here's my last call out on this. If you have a problem with this, I got to question your humanity, because that's all he's doing is making, like you said, he walked those same streets. He had those same struggles. He was a kid that really, had a problem going to school each and every day. But you know what? He rose to the occasion. He answered the call, and he's making a difference. Coach?
Yes, sir, without a doubt. And like I said, touched on earlier, not only does he do this for his community, he speaks out about the social injustices, and he refuses to shut up and dribble. So to the analyst that spoke out and said that whenever he came out and was speaking against our president, the guy that's in charge of our country today, LeBron, tip your hat off to him, because what he's doing is truly outstanding. Not saying that other athletes don't do things, but LeBron James has been at the forefront each and every year, doing things for these kids. He has a bicycle race, and he gives kids bicycles every year, each summer, back in his hometown of Akron. And as well, he's been supportive of everything, and I just support him. Anybody, like Coach G said, if anybody has a problem with this, then you need to check your humanity status.
And that's a great call. We don't. We're not here to downplay what that coach was saying. Anybody that's ever done anything in the past, but today it's a little different. It's a little different today, and the things that we're dealing with. But there's, like you said, here was the cool thing. When LeBron was on CNN, and I just want to kind of cap it off this way. He said he never had been in a pantry. He never knew what a pantry was till he was on a team, and it was a Caucasian team member, and he went over to that person's house, and they had a pantry. And that kind of echoes, in my mind, because I graduated in 1984. One of our teammates, who was a Caucasian player, invited the team over one day to his house. So we go over to the house, and we're shooting pool, and one of my teammates, who was African-American, comes up to me and says, gee, man, he says, you been in the bathroom? I said, no, why? He said, man, I said, why? He said, man, the toilet paper's in the wall. And I said, what do you mean it's in the wall? And I said, he said, it's on the roller, man, and it's mounted on the wall. I said, wait. I said, how is it at your house? He said, I have to reach on the back of the commode and take the toilet paper and roll it off by hand. So, you don't realize how far we've come, but yet how far we have to go. Some of the prejudice stuff that LeBron has dealt with, his home being vandalized with the N-word spray painted on his gates, and through it all, he continues to focus. He continues to be that light in sometimes dark places. But just a great, just what a great testimony for him. What a great testimony to give back, and it's all about making a difference. So, Coach, I just appreciate you, letting that be our headline, and we discussing in the matter and the call out like he does on the political arena. But a lot of times, we lose focus. We want to be getting up and judging this person and judging this person. There's nothing like sports. And when you look at sports and how it's been able to bring the races together, because you're on a team and you're competing for one goal. Whether it's a Caucasian guy scoring 45, where African American is scoring 20, it doesn't matter. You are trying to do what? You're trying to win a game, and in that, you learn a lot from sports. I wouldn't be where I am today without sports, and I'm sure Coach Quick could say the same. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it back over to you, Coach, for your closing comments on that.
Yes, sir. Like I said, earlier, just tip my hat off to LeBron James. Appreciate what him and his foundation is doing. Hats off to him and his family, and I wish him much success with his new team in Los Angeles. I wish the community of Akron all the best with this new project that LeBron has opened up.
Excellent.
Yes, sir. So now, Coach G, I would like to touch on. You like to touch on the NBA free agency?
I'll tell you what, man. It is like, it's all good, man. You know what? And like I said, Coach Quick is tossing it up. So here's the deal. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna call out a name, and I want to see where you would have this guy play. All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Carmelo Anthony.
He's going to Houston.
All right, so he's going to Houston. I tell you what, somebody actually, it's funny you say that. I had an opportunity to have dinner last night with a former NBA guy. He's going to remain anonymous at this time, and we were kind of laughing and talking, and this guy's name came up, Carmelo Anthony, and it was just like the guy can't play without the basketball. He really can't. If the ball is not in his hands, what does it give you? Is it defensive liability? And can he accept his role? So I'm going to toss that back to Coach Quick. If he goes to Houston, where do you see him fitting in? Is he a starter? Is he a six-man? Talk to me.
To me, he needs to come off the bench. I think D'Antoni's going to start him out of respect. But to me, he would fill the void of he would be the go-to guy on the bench, coming off the bench as a six-man. Go out and get me buckets. That's what I need. Houston lost a lot defensively this offseason, losing Trevor Ariza to the Phoenix Suns, and I think they lost Luke Mbamute as well. That's losing a lot defensively. If you take P.J. Tucker out of the starting lineup at the expense for Carmelo Anthony, your team is going to suffer and hurt some. You don't need him to start when you got Harden in the lineup. You bring him and Eric Gordon off that bench, him in the six-man role. Carmelo, go get me buckets. Isolation plays, go get buckets. That's all you need to do. You're not going to be a defender. You're not going to rebound. You struggled with that out in OKC this past year. I'm wishing you the best because, heck, you've been one of the best of all time working with Team USA. So I'd like to see you have a successful season this season.
All right, listen, folks, you just heard it from none other than Coach Quick, and he's going to break it down, and you see that roll in there. You know what? I'm going to have to, my man's putting it out there, so I'm going to have to do a little more homework and take a deep down look. But again, my thing is this with Carmelo, he can do all of that if he accepts his role. If he accepts his role and be able to sit down and say, you know what do I need for you? From you in order for this team to move to the next level, because we know, minus Chris Paul in those last two games, I guarantee it'd have been the Houston Rockets playing the Cleveland Cavaliers and not the Golden State Warriors. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so now listen, let's turn. If you don't mind, let's kind of drop down. Well, actually, no, we're just gonna stay in the same state. We're just gonna move. We're gonna move up a little bit and come out of Houston and slide over there to San Antonio and talk about that. Kawhi Leonard end up going to. He's crossed the border. And what's your take on that?
Well, my take on that was, the Magic Johnson and the Lakers stayed packed. They were not going to give up all their young talent for Kawhi Leonard, a guy who's coming off a major injury. So, therefore, San Antonio, their hand was forced. Number one, they didn't want to trade him to a Western Conference team anyway. So, they did the next best thing. They went out and got another all-star player in DeMar DeRozan, who I think will keep San Antonio anywhere between 5 and 8 in the Western Conference. The West got better with LeBron going to the West. Bottom line, I think Toronto is a good trade for this year. I just don't think Kawhi Leonard stays there. Personally, I hope he winds up a Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, you say that like you got like you be gonna be pulling for them Lakers this year.
Oh, no question. I grew up a Lakers fan, so it was much easier to go back home.
Watch
when
out.
My favorite player goes home.
Watch out, man, because I tell you what, when you go back and you folks that don't understand basketball, I don't want to, maybe Coach Goins just misspoke, not to understand basketball. When you don't have that luxury of having those great players back when Coach Quick was talking about, when you look at Magic Johnson, Abdul-Jabbar, Jamal Wilkes, James Worthy. Who else was on that? Byron Scott. You look at also Kurt Rambler.
AC Green.
AC Green. Those guys were just workhorses, and they were showtime. That ball came out, and those guys were just absolutely dynamic, and it was just West Coast finesse, up and down, running that fast break. So now let's kind of turn our attention to them guys in Inglewood, California. So we know LeBron is there. We know that they've got some talent in Kuzma and all that. Can Ball be the guy that you need him to be?
I think he can, but he's got to separate himself from a lot of the negativity, namely his father. I think LeBron is going to help that. I think Rajon Rondo is going to help that. I believe Lonzo Ball is a much better talent than what he showed last season. I've never been in love with him as a shooter, but I think he can get better in that area.
And that's a great call out. And here's the thing: I've always been a Rondo fan, and the reason why I've been a Rondo fan because he can play. And when you stop and you look, and certain players can play for certain coaches, and people say, well, that shouldn't be how. Well, it's just a personality. Sometimes they just don't click. And it's something. Then certain coaches can have that ear of a player, and when that player kind of starts going down the wrong path, that coach can kind of call him back. And I think that's what Doc Rivers was able to do with Rondo. They always talk about it. He has such a high level basketball IQ, and LeBron needs that because we know the boys in Cleveland, them jokers when it came to basketball IQ, they weren't even in kindergarten. Them jokers couldn't get on the bus if the bus stopped and had 27 ramps to allow them up on the bus. Because again, and that's what's frustrating. I don't want to bring up unpack old baggage, but that game, losing game 1 to Golden State, the series was over after that. Because they had an opportunity to steal game 1. And when you're in the NBA and you don't know the situation at the free throw line, the game is on the line, I question why you're in the NBA. Because if it was me, I've always tried to, take the high road and say JR was a type of player that, I could really, I would like to have him. But after that, I'm done. Just because, when you're in that situation and you turn around and you tell LeBron and you can read his lips and he said, oh, I thought we were up. Man, yeah, I can see how LeBron went in there and punched the board and kind of damaged and bruised his hand and all that other kind of stuff because, you play your heart out and you leave it on the court and I come up to you, coach, and go, oh, I thought we was winning. And it's one of those deals. Like, does he deserve to be in the league? I mean, it's just hard to fathom, why a person would not be in a situation, and I don't want to blame the coaches, and they should have called a timeout. These guys, they're professional. It's not like college. It's not like high school. I got to call a timeout and look at you in the face and say, now listen, it's 1-1 or whatever this game situation may be. So that's why I kind of struggle with that. But it's a long way around the barn to be able to say the Lakers will be very exciting to watch. I think they're a few players away. My thing is they've got to really strengthen their bench because the thing is, who's going to carry that load once LeBron goes? When I say that load, I think they need a little more pieces just beside Ingram and also Kuzma. I'm really excited they've got McGee coming in. I think he'll really open up the paint on that pick and roll. But they really got to get a couple, maybe a knockdown shooter and somebody that is very complimentary. Now, if it was me, I would go after a guy like Crawford that's been, such a mainstay out with the Clippers, and he's been a journeyman. But that guy can get you some buckets.
Yes, sir. I agree with that. And, they drafted a young kid out of Kansas, Makalu. He showed himself in the summer league. He's knocking down some shots. I think the Lakers bench will be much better this year. They're younger. Lance Stevenson coming off the bench. And it looks as if Rondo may be coming off the bench, but we're not sure yet. But their bench is going to be much better and stronger this year than it's been in the past.
I'll go ahead and
Rondo, Lance Stevenson, Kuzma. If Kuzma's not going to be in the starting lineup, that bench is going to be pretty stacked.
All right.
Along with Josh Hart as well.
Here's my thing. I think Rondo may start on the bench, but I give him before the All-Star break. That joker be in the starting lineup.
Yes, sir.
And again, what happens there, it may take a little pressure off of Ball. Just to be able to say, okay, we came and we put you in a situation last year. Let's kind of regroup. because one thing about it is LeBron handles the ball. So these guys coming up the floor, what can they do in certain situations? But it's a lot. It's a lot to see. It's a lot to unfold. You know what? And here's the thing I want to toss out and reference the Golden State. I think they got one more. I think they got possibly one more in them, and then it's time to bust them jokers up. And the reason why I say that because you got a guy like Klay Thompson who's he's playing basically kind of third fiddle. Draymond Green, in my opinion, and I've been around basketball a long time, Draymond Green gets a lot of, I know what he does for them is important, but I don't think he could carry the load. He's not a guy that can come out and, get you 35, 40 points a game and carry a team. So, he's getting a lot of mileage off of the squad that he's on. I know they went out and got Boogie Cousins. I think that's just going to be a little bit of project. Because again, there's only one ball in their shooters, so I think he's there just for maybe like a year of rehab because he signed a 1-year deal and he may move on to the West. He may end up out there with your guys. So, what's your take on Golden State?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think they're going to lose some pieces after this season. After this season, they're going to lose some pieces. Klay Thompson may leave in free agency. And I think he could possibly end up a Laker. In my opinion, Klay Thompson is the second best shooting guard in the league, and he's the best two-way shooting guard in the league over Harden, in my opinion. Because Klay, he can score, and he's a defender. Harden, the difference between the two, Harden is a flat-out scorer, but he cannot defend, and that was proven in the Western Conference Finals.
Coach, here's the thing, folks. So don't call and ask me why Coach Quick is the co-host because he just broke it down to you as clear as the day is Thursday, August the 2nd. That's you know what? Even if we were on Sports Center, I could hear the music going dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, because bottom line to it is James Harden, he couldn't guard me. You know what I mean? Just because he chooses not to play defense. And you get a guy like Klay Thompson that just gives you the all on both ends of the floor. Typically he may guard the toughest guy on the opposing guy on the other team. But you're right. He's won 2 or 3 championships, and he's like, okay, that's cool. Now it's time for me to go get paid. And again, that's where I think he ends up in. L.A. would be great. A lot of people fail to realize or forget to realize that his dad was a Laker for a long time, Michael Thompson. So I think that'd be super smooth for him to end up out there in L.A. LeBron can look out the dish to him and knock down the threes. That'd be pretty nice if we could go ahead and carve that up for next year. All right, I'll kick it back over to you quick.
Yes, sir. And piggybacking off that, with the Lakers are still going to have enough money to actually go out and sign 2 max guys again next season. They signed the guys with a bunch of 1-year deals to be able to go out and do that next season. So you could possibly see a Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson team up with LeBron James in Los Angeles. It could possibly happen. As well, the Lakers team this year is going to be different. This is a different scenario for LeBron than it's been in the past. I think Magic has put guys together to tell LeBron, go get buckets. You ain't got to handle the ball all the time. Operate from the 4 out of all our sets and let Rondo, guys like Lance Stevenson, other playmakers feed you, and then you got young talent, Brandon Ingram and Kuzma on the wings. There's going to be a lot of fun. Showtime is on the way back, ladies and gentlemen.
Watch out, man. You got your resume updated. The Magic Man may call you before this show's over if you keep laying that lineup like that. But that's what it's about. You got to study and show yourself approving, and that's why Coach Quick is on this show, because he's just not on here. He's talking facts. So if he tells you that in the lineup, you need to look for it and look for greater things to come and the greater. You know what? There's nothing. You missed the Lakers not being in there because they were just they're just an iconic team. It's just like Boston. It was so good to see Boston back. I know. Tatum is working very hard this all season. I know he's spending some time with the Black Mamba, aka Kobe Bryant. And one thing about that, you can never go wrong when you got the Kobe man. And again, at first I really always kind of struggled with Kobe's game, but the older he got, the more I was able to sit back and really appreciate what he did. But when you get a young guy like Tatum that's really going into the laboratory and homing his skills and crafting everything out and spending that time when I say off the court, spending the time doing all season on the court to really, really perfect this game. It's great to see Boston. It's good to see Houston. I'm sure that we're gonna get blessed and get some guys back in New York. And get some things popping around them because those are the franchises that you really want to be able to see up and coming. So hey, listen, I want to kind of drop down to that team in North Carolina. I know His Airness is the owner, and I know they picked up a veteran guard. I say veteran guard, but I don't know if the guy is in the twilight of his career or what. But what do you think about them? Did they pick up Tony Parker just to put butts in the seats, or did they pick up Tony Parker to help out?
I think just to put butts in the seat. Tony Parker, he as great as he has been, he's a shell of his former self. And, right now Mike has really got to do some things to change that team. He's got to change the culture. He's got to get some winning guys in, and I think that was part of the process in bringing Tony Parker. Somebody who has championship pedigree, along with his assistant coach that has been hired in Charlotte. Can't remember his name, but he has championship pedigree. He's learned under the best in Greg Popovich. So you bring that in, you got to change the atmosphere around these guys. You got some young talent, but now you had to add some guys who's been there, who's done that. Tony Parker is going to be a great leader for that locker room. Hopefully he can help put Charlotte in the right direction.
And that's the thing. That's a great call out. Because, when the guy, it was just like Magic. Magic's not going to have the Lakers and then running that organization and they're at the bottom of the barrel. So we're going to call out MJ. So, Mike, if you hear when it is, yes, Coach Quick, Coach Goins on basketball more in the game. The Charlotte Hornets need to be more than just a franchise in the NBA. So we're gonna throw this challenge out to you. Let's go ahead, man. You're the greatest of all time, and you're the owner of a team, and you can't get guys to come to Charlotte and really step their game up to be a premier city that it is, and be able to have one of the best NBA teams, and you own that team. So my thing is, come out from that shadow, get out here and shake these guys loose, and get these quality guys up in the Queen City, so you guys can rock and roll. And again, that's a great call out. Tony Parker he's played his best ball. He's going in there now, and we'll see what that looks like. But I don't think that's the move they need to make, and really in order to get them back where they need to be. Okay. Hey, I know you called the guy's name out real quick, Popovich, and it's so exciting. I know Coach K has stepped down from USA Basketball, and Pop has stepped in there. So I think that's a great selection for him to be able to head that up. Number one, he's got the respect, he got the guys' ears, and to be able to come in and these guys perform the way they need to perform at a very, very high level. Coach K has left that organization at the pinnacle. It is exactly where it needs to be, just because it is representing the United States. He's done a phenomenal job, and he's brought in some great coaches along the way. And being able to build USA Basketball where it needs to be. I know we miss college guys playing in the Olympics, and I grew up, it was always college guys. Now it's the NBA, because there's other professionals in other countries playing, so why not give that honor to our guys to be able to go out and torch everybody. So, Jerry Colangelo, he was the head of USA Basketball. Hats off to him for constantly keeping the right guys in the right situation for USA Basketball to be as strong as it is.
I totally agree with that. I thought Greg Popovich was the perfect choice to replace Mike Krzyzewski, and like you say, everybody around the league respects him. He's coming off a real tough summer, losing his wife, this past season. But I think Greg Popovich is going to have USA Basketball right around the top, just as Mike Krzyzewski left it there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, so I'll kick it back over to you.
Yes, sir. Like to talk about NFL. The NFL season is vastly approaching. Hall of Fame game is tonight. Chicago Bears versus the Baltimore Ravens. And we got some great guys going in the Hall this weekend. Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Brian Urlacher, Brian Dawkins, Jerry Kramer, Robert Brazile, Bobby Beathard, and the great Ray Lewis.
Wow. Wow, saving the best for last. You know what? So as we get ready to spin this way and get into talking a little bit about football, we're going to go ahead and drop this segment in the paint. And this is sponsored by Act Sports, and we want to thank Act Sports for their continued support of basketball more than the game. It has been a dynamic season. Matter of fact, they just came off of what they call the Commonwealth Games. So Act Sports had their track team go down and ran, and they won 10 medals in the Commonwealth game. And for those that don't know, the Commonwealth game is where all youth athletes come together, as well as and it's all by age, so you do have some older runners, but they went down and performed. And we just finished up wrestling for the first year, was very successful. So now they get ready to roll into volleyball and flag football, and which is a great segue to roll in, and appreciate Coach Quick doing his homework on this Hall of Fame. You know what, when you call guys like Ray Lewis, Randy Moss, T.O. These guys are just you think about Ray Lewis and what he did while he was in the league. You think about Randy Moss. Randy Moss is he came into Minnesota, and he did what he needed to do there. And he had who was the quarterback then? Was Dante Culpepper. And not when I see Randy Moss go in the Hall of Fame, and I'm sure he may say that during his induction speech. I hope he really takes a second and throw out a little and throw a bone to Chris Carter, and that's what it's about, because when you have that talent that he had, when he comes into an organization such as the NFL, there's a senior guy in front of him, which was Chris Carter when they were together in Minnesota. So hopefully he takes time and really just, shares a couple, from his heart, and just shares how this guy impacted his life. He made him a better person, a better player, and I'm sure he will. Randy, I remember seeing Randy Moss play at Marshall University back in the mid-'90s when I was coaching at Union Pines. Took one of the players up there on a recruiting trip and had the honor and privilege of seeing Randy Moss and Chad Pennington play when they were in college. And now here he is, get ready to go in the Hall of Fame. So that's telling you I'm not 20 years old anymore. But, just a great call out. That's a great class. I'm hoping, T.O. has got his stuff squared away to be able to get up and make his speech and, really not talk about what he wasn't going to do, because it's an honor. That's something that somebody, 100 years from now, when they walk into the Hall of Fame, be able to see these guys. And, it's no small, it's no small token. It's no, nobody taking a pot shot, but, these guys have worked hard to be able to get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, let's talk about T.O. for a minute. Nobody's questioning this guy's work ethic, his talent, his ability. T.O. is one of the greatest receivers to ever play the game. Anytime you come back and you play after breaking your leg in the Super Bowl, you played in the Super Bowl after breaking your leg in the playoffs. You're a heck of a talent. It speaks a lot about your work ethic. It speaks a lot about your character, about the human being that you are. But a lot of this stuff, you're not going to make your speech at the Hall. And recently it came out that you're not doing it because you were upset that it took them 3 years. Well, T.O., I'm here to tell you, there's some guys who don't go in after 30 years. So what makes you bigger and better than the game? I like you. I think you were a heck of a player, but you're not bigger than the game. Okay, and I get it. I get you feel like some of the media was disrespectful for you, but suck it up. But I'm still glad you're going to make your speech. You're going to make it at your former college, Tennessee Chattanooga, with Ray Farmer inducting you into the Hall of Fame. So I'm hats off to you, but I wish you were there in Canton to make the speech with the rest of your class.
And that's a great call out. Nobody's bigger than the game, and it is. It's a process. Some guys are first ballot, and some guys are not. And that's so true. And I'm not going to try to come in behind Coach Quick because he laid it down, just like he's always going to lay it down. He's going to be true. He's going to be telling you from the heart, and most importantly, and that's exactly right. Nobody is bigger than the game. So you have to, take a step back, put that pride on the shelf, drop back. Punt it if you need to punt it, and just like Quick said, he's not going to be at the Hall. He's not going to be in Canton. That's So once again, you may be disagreeing why it took him so long for you to go in, but now you're going to play this game and not be on site. But again, you're going in. Congratulations on going in. But my thing is, don't Don't get up there and make a fool of yourself. Get up there and have a intelligent speech, and do what you need to do, and get on out of the way. Because again, it's not about that. It's not about and just like talk about going into the Hall of Fame. It's just like Michael Jordan's induction speech. Very, very disappointed when I heard that. Very disappointed on how he delivered that. And all in all, doesn't take away from what he did on the court, but it just takes away. And it's one that you don't ever see repeated on ESPN. You don't ever see that. Let's go back and let's see Michael Jordan's induction. You really don't. It was really, and I think done in really poor character. But again, that's just Coach Goins' opinion. Coach Quick gave his opinion, but it's a great call out, and I appreciate you being on your game, calling that out the way you did. So, hey, listen, we're going to go ahead and kick it back over to Coach Quick as we start wrapping this up. Hey, listen, folks, you know what? We cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And like we always say, you can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Facebook, Lionfish Entertainment out of Los Angeles, California, Spotify. We're coming up hard and heavy on Spotify. We appreciate everybody that dials in and listen to us. A good friend of mine from Puerto Rico that just relocated to Allentown, Pennsylvania, Mr. Raphael Amalbert. He came by the house, and we did a live shot here in the studio, and just give him a shout out. He's really a big supporter of us on Spotify, and we certainly appreciate him and his family for the time that they spend here, and everybody that continues to check us out, calls us, asks questions, and not just me, also Coach Quick, and that's what it's about. And Coach Quick and I will talk about some stuff before we came on the air. We're not going to go public with it right now, but we do have some things brewing in the laboratory that hopefully everybody's going to like, and it'll work out for both Coach Quick and myself. But the big thing there is we just want to continue to make sure that we're giving back, make sure that we're taking care of everybody, make sure that we and that's the thing. One thing I've learned from Coach Capel always is make sure that you give back, you take care of people, and the way that is saying a kind word or just having a good thought and just making sure that everything that you do it for the right reason. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to kick it over to Coach Quick for his final comments, and then we'll be back.
Yes, sir. My final comments for today, just like to give a shout out, number one, to the legendary Roy Williams. Had a 68th birthday on yesterday and gets a genuine gift on today with the Deanie Smith Center basketball court floor being named Roy Williams Court. So truly a blessing to have that happen. Coach Williams, if anybody knows him, he's so humble. He didn't want this, but his former players and his current players wanted this for him, and I would like to say it's well-deserved. 3 national championships at your alma mater. You've kept the program in the right direction after Coach Smith and Coach Gutt have gone on to the heavens above. So as a Tar Heel fan, I just want to say thank you to Roy Williams for what he's doing with the program there and how he's carrying himself with character and dignity to keep running the basketball program. Also a shout out to Jeff Capel getting the head job at the University of Pittsburgh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, Jeff Capel's going to turn that program around. A lot of people you normally wouldn't have seen a Mike Krzyzewski grad go and take another job within the conference. Jeff Capel is showing heart, he's showing integrity, and he's not going to mind going head-to-head and toe-to-toe with Roy Williams or Mike Krzyzewski. Jeff is going to get that staff turned around, get that program turned around. He's got his brother on staff with him, with some other nice young coaches. He's going to turn it around. He's a good coach and a great recruiter. So look out for the University of Pittsburgh. And Coach Goins, just like to thank you again for having me on the show. It's truly a pleasure to be able to do something that I love to do with a great friend of mine who took me under his wing over 20 years ago. Thank you.
Oh man, so you know what, folks, you know what? I can't say nothing, but you know what? That is the best co-host this side of heaven. When he's able to just think about it. Now Roy Williams is so the court in Chapel Hill is going to be now the Roy Williams court.
Yes, sir.
It's what a great honor, because you think about 3 national championships, that's huge. So, Coach, he's called everything out. He's done a great job, as he always does. So, listen, as you listen to this show, we want to continue to encourage you. Coach Quick will kick it out once he gets it. He'll kick it out to the folks that he knows. And we want to definitely thank everybody for your continued support of basketball more than the game. Thank our sponsors, Mr. Curtis Jackson out of the great state of North Carolina. So, please reach out to him for your insurance needs. Don't call him now now before it's too late. Also, our segment sponsors, Act Sports, for taking care of us on the fast break as well as in the paint. And we want to give a shout out, as you said, it was Roy Williams' birthday yesterday. It was my son's birthday 23 years ago. He turned 23, and Quick, you would like this, Coach. He had on his Michael Jordan jersey yesterday. So when he came in, I was like, "Oh, you rocking 20?" He said, "And every day that you're 23." So he said, "I'm gonna rock the airness today." So 23 years ago, yesterday, I was with Coach Quick, and I was coaching him in football. And 23 years later, we're still hanging. Now we're doing this, and we're touching the world. And it's not every day, and we don't take it for granted that we're in 20 foreign countries where we've almost clipped every state in the United States. So what we're doing is having an impact, and there's no other person, and I mean this from the depths of my heart, there's no other person I would rather have on my show each time is other than Mike Quick, because number one, he has the passion, and number two, he loves what he does. So I want to thank him and his wife for allowing him to carve out some time and jump on here, and we just talk about what we love to talk about. So listen, until next time, always remember, you got to give back, help somebody, and as it says in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the light. So this is Coach Goins along with Coach Quick. Until the next time, I got to get out of here, get this gym cleaned up, and as always, we'll see you in the gym.